I think this is the first episode of Doctor Who in the last year and a half, in which I've actually been able to just start it off without having to go off on a random tangent. And I have to go off on a random tangent to explain that. Go figure. Alright. Hello, everybody. My name is the Immortal K of InsaneWeTrust.blogspot.ca. As usual, I shall put a link to my blog in the description, if I can remember to, since it's been that bloody long since I've done one of these. Alright, before I get started on The Bells of St. John, the actual Series 7 premiere, I'll get into my feelings on that in a second, but anyway, there is one thing I actually want to bring up, which is I think sometime this morning or this afternoon, it was finally confirmed David Tennant and Billie Piper are going to be in the 50-year anniversary, which means probably only one thing, that it is in fact the clone doctor and Rose from in the other dimension, or the current dimension. I can't remember, it was a while ago. Anyway, so yeah, that's confirmed, and that's also really, really awesome. Anyway, getting back to exactly what we were talking about here, which is the Bells of St. John. Now, spoilers past this point. If you've seen one of these videos before, you know exactly what was coming anyway, but spoilers past this point. Ahem. This was a bit of a surprise episode, because I was looking forward to it, obviously, because Doctor Who's coming back, but the thing is, when it comes down to it, I was looking forward to more like the episodes Hyde and Cold War, which are episodes 3 and 4 of this season. And I'm kind of looking forward to the Rings of something something, which is coming up next week. This one, I don't know, it reminded me a lot of The Power of Three, which was at best a bleh episode. Or not a bleh episode. An okay episode, just because it was too slow. But anyway, it reminded me too much of that, so I wasn't really looking forward to it. And it started off pretty slow. Like, really slow. Got really good, and then near the very end, kind of derailed. Near the very, very end. But it still was a really good episode, in my opinion. Not as strong as premiere as Asylum of the Daleks, or obviously not even close to Day of the Moon or The Impossible Astronaut. But, or for that matter, The 11th Hour, but, again, I'm kind of, what's the expression? I'm overthinking, is the word I'm going for here. But anyway, very good episode, though. Like I said, spoilers. What ended up happening was, the Doctor ends up running into Clara. He tries to convince her he tries to get her to remember him, or whatever. She doesn't believe him, because she hasn't, I think. I'm still not quite sure what the hell she is, or if this is like some weird time-space distortion. I think that's kind of the theory I'm going with right now, is that her origins kind of have something to do with just space-time just going ass over tea kettle. Like somewhere near the end. I kind of think like what was it? Flesh and Stone, when the Doctor was going backwards through, you know what, fuck it, I'm actually going to completely just dodge this point. Ahem. That all happens. We get to learn a little bit about this version of Clara. By the way, there's one thing I really like about Clara, is that all three versions of her, Oswin, the Victorian one, and this one, and the actual Clara. The one thing I really like about all three versions of them is that they all have different hairstyles, and they all look generally different. Obviously, completely different eras, future, past, and present. Actually, now that I say that out loud, that might be somewhat of a plot point. Huh. Anyway, like I said, the three different versions, they all look different. And they all behave a little different. Not much, but a little different. So I kind of like that little attention to detail. Potentially. Again, I still don't know what the hell she is. Anyway. But, the villain. Now, when I was first going through this, I know Cybermen are coming up in this season. I thought it was the Cybermen. It's not the Cybermen. I'm going to say that right now. It's not the Cybermen. I have abso-friggin-lutely no idea what the hell the villain was. What was going on was people were getting, basically, their brains were getting downloaded, their minds were getting downloaded through the internet, through Wi-Fi, into this giant collection. Now, I'm not sure if they ever actually explained what the hell the collection was for. I actually don't. And then, there was this one company who was behind it. And that lead one was taking orders from... here's where I have no idea what kind of happened. This is... The villain at first, because I had no interest in them, is what kind of kept me off of it. And near the very end, it completely craps itself. Because at about the 20-minute mark, at least if we're going by the hour-long thing with commercials and whatnot, about 20 minutes, right before the second commercial break, I believe it was, we see the main female lead of the company talking to someone. We don't know who it is. We just know that this is the person who's behind all this. Now, my brain immediately goes back to, like, this is giving me massive deja vu to the Lazarus Project. Because it's making me think, this might be the Master. And I realize, I'm seeing the Master everywhere now. Because, goddamn, I'm a fan of the Master. But it's kind of sad at this point where if the Doctor or anybody who's on the bad side is seen talking to somebody and they're not shown who it is, I start going through the list of who it could be. The Master and even the Shakri came to my mind. For a second, Davros, but then I just went, no. That's just silly. And who it was glowing blue old man face, who I don't know why they hit it, and I have no idea what it was. And then everybody got their memories back. Okay, yeah, the villains really were the low point of this. At least, especially when you know what's coming. That being said, the Doctor is, Matt Smith does fine. Jenna Louise Coleman does quite fine. Supporting cast does fine. Everything does fine. The drama's fine. The story's quite good. Everything runs quite well. Except for the villains, who are about as forgettable as you're gonna get. I will say that the what's the term I'm looking for here? The communication, I guess is the best word I can think of, between Matt Smith, between the 11th and Jenna Louise, and Clara, the 11th and Clara, is, I'm going to like these two. I'm going to like Clara. I mean, obviously we all knew this from the first two times she showed up. But just this version of Clara, I should say. And I like this, I'm digging Clara, I'm digging the two's banter, Obviously, again, the Christmas version, the Snowman. Snowman? That was what it was called, the Snowman. Yeah, the Snowman. That was excellent. That was a really good relationship between those two. Oswin from Asylum on the Daleks, really good. This version, really good, obviously. And it's, that's one of the main reasons why you would want to watch this. Obviously, then the fact that that was the premiere, which I'm going to get into that right now. Actually, what happened last year? Those 5 episodes saying goodbye to the Pawns. That was those last few episodes with David Tennant, where it was just like a year of just randomly spaced episodes, just because. That's what that was, I think. Because there really was no, the opening is different from what we have now and then. That was serious 6.5. This is Series 7 from this point on. But, and there's, now that I think about it, actually, you know, there was one plot point that maybe I'm overlooking this, but this seems kind of important. At the very beginning, Clara is having trouble connecting to the internet, calls tech support from, and I'm quoting here, well, I'm paraphrasing, but mostly quoting. She said, the woman at the store told her to call that number for tech support, and that she would, that it was the best support she could get. Now, we never find out who that is, who that store woman is. But I have a funny friggin' feeling we're going to come back to that. You know, call me nuts, but that seems like a little bit of a big thing to just kind of leave out in the cold for no reason. But, no, actually there was one thing about the villains that was kind of neat. And I realize I'm jumping all over the place here, but this is the first time I've done this in a very long time, so. But anyway, there was one cool thing about the villains, which was the spoonheads, quote-unquote, which were the names for these little walking terminals that, for like the Wi-Fi storage and Wi-Fi containment and downloading and whatnot, that the enemy was using. And I thought they were kind of cool. Not that cool, because they remind me of something, but I can't put my finger on it, like kind of like autons or something like that. Or, I was getting flashbacks to that one episode, what was it? The first episode with Craig, where it was the Doctor and him, the Lodger, that's it. That was the episode, the Lodger. I was getting flashbacks to that, and I was getting flashbacks to like one or two other episodes, and it was, you know, it was a strange decision, these enemies. And they're not really enemies because they don't really do anything. But they were kind of neat. Just in design sense. You know, they cloak themselves as another person and their head turns around and they have like this weird spoon-shaped thing. I don't know. They're strange. But, yeah, in general, good episode. Just don't expect much from the villains. Please, please don't. They're not terrible, but they are out of nowhere, and then they go right back to nowhere. Now, unless this great intelligence or floating blue man face, as I'm going to be calling it, comes back later, no. No. That was weak. But everything else was pretty good. You know, I actually thought one of the effects where the Doctor was literally riding up a pretty steep, like, pyramid, up the side of a building, basically, on an anti-gravity motorcycle. Don't ask. Actually, this is Doctor Who, so you should already know not to ask if you're watching this. But, and the effect was actually kind of nice, I have to admit. Like, it actually looked, it was CG, clearly. But it was actually a nice effect, I have to admit. Like, it looked about as real as I could imagine it. Which still isn't that real, but, you know, it was a nice effect. But, no, all in all, a very good episode. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season, obviously. You know, actually having more than 5 episodes in a row. You know, I'm content. I'm happy. I think this is the most episodes in a row we've had in the last 2 years. 2.5 years, probably. Hey, Stephen Moffat, don't do that again, please. Series 8, don't. Don't split the season, please. Please don't do that. I don't think we can take it as a fan base. I don't think we can. I think come by the end of Series 7, we're all going to be just in agony. Because we got to go another umpteen months. You know. That'll all drive us nuts, I swear. We're all going to be insane by the end of this because of Stephen Moffat and the BBC's scheduling with us. Okay, now that I got that over with. Good episode. I will see you on the next one. Take care, ladies and gentlemen.